Well, please welcome Gina McCarthy, one of the nation's top-ranking environmental experts. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me, Craig.
As the Biden administration implements the infrastructure law to get rid of lead paint, to get rid of lead pipes across the nation, we hear a lot about the costs of it. What's the cost benefit in terms of illnesses that can be prevented, lives that can be saved, healthcare costs that can be reduced?
Look, there's 10 million American households that have lead in their paints or in the walls of their homes. There's 400,000 daycare centers that are exposed to lead in their water, right? Where the kids going there have that exposure. And there's 24 million housing units that have significant lead-based paint hazards. So we are talking about a significant challenge.
Roughly how many of them may not even be aware of it?
I think far too many, Craig. I think the vast majority of individuals really don't know whether they have lead pipes in their homes or in their yards as they're connecting into the water system that's in the streets. I mean, we simply don't know where these lead pipes exist. We know a lot of them in our urban areas, but not all of them. And you can't fix them if you can't find them. So part of this effort is to really identify those lead pipes, do everything we can to make sure that that exposure is minimized. But it's not good enough to simply minimize it. It has to go away because the CDC has done some additional testing that is showing us that lead, even at very low levels, can rob IQ points from our kids.
What if the pipes are not made of lead, but the solder, how you join them together, in fact, is? How easy is that to detect or difficult to detect, one? And two, how dangerous might that be as well?
Well, that's an in-the-home issue that really has to be addressed, and you're right to raise it. It's one of the considerations. We need to get rid of the lead pipes in our streets and into our homes, but we also have to make sure that people have the information they need if there's lead in the homes themselves, and to start looking at alternatives to the lead solder that used to be used in piping. So there's a lot of older homes where we have to go in. Paint is one of the biggest threats to our children's health. It is really ubiquitous in many of our older cities.
To local government officials who may be listening to this interview as we speak, how would you advise them to make sure, one, they're aware of any lead that may exist within their communities, and two, what to do to make sure they take advantage of the infrastructure law to get rid of it?
Well, part of our challenge is not just to provide grants to states and local communities to address this issue, but we're also going to be using Treasury Department to remind every state that they can take the $350 billion from the American Rescue Plan and use this for this purpose. So we're going to go around, we're going to provide training. We're going to talk to every local community. We're going to be using the CDC and the Education Department to actually make sure that people are aware of this challenge and have the wherewithal to be able to address it. We're going to be strengthening our clean water rules, which means we're going to have every water system doing the kind of testing we need to identify where those problems are. Look, the other challenge with lead is that for the most part, we're seeing the real challenge in communities that we say have been left behind, those that have been disinvested in. We know that Black kids have much more serious exposure than other children to lead paint and to lead in drinking water. We have to get at those communities first and make sure we do the right thing in helping them protect their kids and their families from a poison that should never be in their water system or on their household walls.
Gina McCarthy, thank you for your time.
Craig, thanks very much.